You're on Artist on Record, your ultimate intimate conversation with your favorite artist. And if it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss any other episodes. If you want to see this episode unedited, uncut, check out our VIP All Access Backstage Pass in Patreon. Also, check out some merch. You want to get a hat or something for the family and support this channel at the same time? Links are down below. Now, everybody, put your hands together for the legendary Mr. Mike Portnoy. You might know him from Dream Theater, Sons of Apollo. Well, he's back, and he's back with the Winery Dogs. And they got their new release, number 3, coming out February 3rd, 2023. Links for that are down below. Now, let's talk to Mike. It all starts now. Bam. Now, anyway, I'm going to tell you a little story about me. And if you get offended, you can leave. You're from Long Island. I'm from Canarsie. We understand each other. Okay.
Okay.
A friend of mine is good friends with you. And some people say they got friends and you could.
That's impossible. I don't have any good friends.
Well, when you're done with this phone call, I want you to call this person. I understand. I'm a big Odd Couple fan. And I understand you and my friend Derek Shrinian both have an appreciation for Felix Unger and his honk.
What is it? Yeah.
So Derek, now that you're getting to know me, I'm good friends with Shrinian, and I am the guy responsible for the shag and lava lamps. I'm that guy.
All right, I'm hanging up. So you're probably the guy responsible for Derek being removed from Dream Theater, yeah, indirectly.
You know what? I had to make it up to him because I'm also responsible for another thing. I'm the responsible because I always felt the guilt. Since I went with him to see Dream Theater, I think it was a House of Blues, went to his show. I'm like, because I'm not a prog guy. I'm like, I go, this is great. But Derek, were you there? And it was a whole mockery thing. I go, I didn't even see you up there. Didn't even see you on the stage. It's like me and my shadow. I'm busting his chops. I go, you know what you need to do, Shrinian? You need to make it sexy. I go, listen. He goes, I do? I go, you do. He goes, what do you mean? I go, get the lava lamps, Starsky and Hutch, bring back the 70s, make it sexy. Looking for Mr. Goodbar. Bring some sex to Dream Theater. They'll love it.
Yeah. And then he got fired. Yeah. Well, the funniest thing is the first show we did after Derek was let go, we get over to France. I think it was in France. It was the first show since he was let go. And sure enough, we open up the wardrobe case, and in the wardrobe case were his platform shoes, his yellow feathered boa, his big Bono, yellow glasses, and a few other things that have to remain unmentionable. But anyway, we put them on a chair in the front of the stage to pay tribute to to Derek's time in the band as we moved on into the next chapter. But he was with us at that first show in spirit with his lava lamps and feathered boa and platform shoes.
But I always felt guilty. I go, Shrinian, one day I got a phone call. I go, I know I'm the reason why you're not in Dream Theater. And your career might be in the toilet, but let me tell you something. I'm here to save you. What do you mean? I go, I just got a phone call from Eddie Van Halen. I go, we're going to play his backyard party.
Okay. So you set that up.
I'm the guy.
That's Eddie, a legendary story. Your idea for Derek, it was the right idea, but the wrong band.
It wasn't the right band. No. I had an idea. Sometimes they don't go as well as planned. That's it. That's it. Winery Dogs' new release, number 3, or the 3rd, released, available February 3rd, 2023. It's fitting for you guys. 3-piece,
exactly.
Right, yeah. 3rd album.
Yep, exactly.
What are you gonna call it? Number 9? Number 9? No,
no. We're all about the 3. We're all about the power trio and the power of 3. It's
better that way. And you know what? Less egos to deal with. You only got you 3 now.
That's right. It's absolutely true. Believe me, I'm in plenty of bands of 4 and 5 people, and the more people you add into the mix, the tougher it is to get along, And if you look at all the classic power trios in history, they almost never had lineup changes. The Police was only those 3 guys. Rush was only those 3 guys. ZZ Top, until Dusty passed, were only those 3 guys. Cream was only those 3 guys. So, there's something to be said for the trio combination.
And also the Bee Gees. We can't forget about them.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
although Andy was in there for a little while, but and actually the Bee Gees started as a 5-piece. Those early classic 60s albums, you know, the first album and Idea and you know, those kind of power pop ones. They actually had a drummer and I guess a guitar player or a bass player. Same with Crosby, Stills and Nash. You know, they had Dallas Taylor and whoever I can't remember the bass player, but yeah. So yeah, even Bee Gees and Crosby, Stills and Nash started as a 5-piece, even though it was only 3 singers.
Yeah, they I guess when they rebranded and then they came out as they go, what are we going to pay these guys for? It's us. The hell with them. They're too much of a problem. You know, It's like a Sharinian, too much of a problem. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Make it a 3-piece over here. But you know what? I was going to ask you, you know, you named a couple bands. Would you say as a kid growing up, would you want to have been in a 3-piece? Was it cool back then as a kid? Or you looked at like 4 pieces, like the Beatles, like that's the way to go?
Well, I never really thought about it, but all of my favorite bands were 4 pieces. The Beatles, The Who, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Kiss. All my favorite bands growing up were 4 pieces. But then I discovered Rush and got into prog. And then, when, you know, my very first real band was Dream Theater. And when we formed at Berkeley, we were just the 3 of us for about a year before we added keyboards and vocals. You know, we started Dream Theater as just myself, John Petrucci, and John Myung. So, you know, that first year when we were called Majesty back then, it was just 3 of us. And, you know, I've done a few other trios through the years, but the Winery Dogs is the consummate, ultimate, you know, 3-piece setup. Really playing with Billy and Richie is just a great lineup.
It's a great lineup. I mean, doing a 3-piece, it's you need the right guys too, because Richie, what a great guitar player, and Billy, you know, everybody. I remember seeing Billy as a kid. I had him on the show, but I remember going to Lemoore's in Brooklyn when Tallis used to play back in the day.
I saw Tallis at Lemoore, Brooklyn. I saw him in back at the Stage Door in Deer Park. I mean, I used to see them all the time back in the clubs back in the early 80s.
Yeah,
they started as a trio as well. I used to go see them with the 4-piece lineup with Mark Miller, Phil Narrow, and Johnny Angel. But the original Tallis lineup was a 3-piece as well. The first couple albums was just 3 of them. So yeah,
I didn't know about them. I remember it was like around 83 when I started going to Lemoore's. It might have been those bands like Prophet. They were.
Oh yeah, well I used to go see Twisted Sister and Zebra. You know, back in the early clubs days as well. And now I play with Twisted Sister. I'm going to be playing with them this week, actually, you know, for the first time in about 6 years.
So you got an award show with them, right? They're giving away.
They're getting inducted into the Metal Hall of Fame, and myself and Steve Vai are going to induct him. And then I'm going to play with the band. We're going to play 3 songs at the ceremony. And, you know, we or them and myself, we haven't played together since 2016, since the final farewell shows they did. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
You know, Mike, I'll tell you, you touched a note on Twisted Sister, because you and I, both the same age, both born in 67, great year for music, Sgt. Pepper, all that great stuff. But Twisted Sister, for the people out there watching, they were legendary on the East Coast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that Steve Vai and I will talk about in the induction ceremony, because Steve and myself, and I guess you as well, used to go see them in the Long Island clubs. This was before the MTV videos. I mean, they were the coolest local club band on the circuit, and they just kicked so much ass. They were like the greatest live band. D was the greatest front man. JJ was like the Robin to his Batman, and and I used to go sneak into clubs and see them back in the day. And then also I had these legendary cassettes. They would have some of their shows broadcast live on WLIR or whatever back in the day, and I had the cassettes of those shows and them playing at all these, you know, at my father's place and Hammerheads and all these things. And those early shows were legendary. They had all the Disco Sucks rallies, and, you know, and they would be singing like At the White Castle and do all these cover songs, everything from Born to Be Wild to, you know, classic Sabbath stuff. And they were the ultimate club band back in the day.
I got to see a little growth of Sister, because I had been like 16 when I'd go sneak into Lemoore's at that point, and Lemoore's in Brooklyn. I remember they ended the set with It's Only Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
And it was like, it wanted me to throw away my Rolling Stones records.
Yeah. Actually, I played that with them a few times they busted that out because that was like their closing song back in the club days. And then that was the song that got them signed. They did an appearance on a UK TV show, and they brought Lemmy out, and Lemmy played that song with them as well. But they wiped off all their makeup, and they just won the crowd over with that tune. Yeah.
It was so cool. I used to think they were an English band because the video for "You Can't Stop Rock and Roll" always reminded me of an English vibe with the overcast weather.
I remember that "You Can't Stop Rock and Roll" video. I mean, that was the first video I think Twisted did. And I loved that they had the whole biker vibe and you know, that even when I started playing with them, they patched me in. Like I got my colors, you know, and we all go to the stage wearing our jackets and our vests with the colors on. And I love that whole biker vibe that they have. It's like a real brotherhood.
But I got to ask you something about your past a little bit, which it blew my mind because there was a movie that I loved, Play Misty for Me, and your dad became a DJ because of that movie. Can you just tell me a little of that story?
Not only became a DJ, he became a DJ at KRML in Carmel, California, exactly where the movie takes place. Yeah, I mean, I grew up on Long Island, and my parents got divorced when I was a year and a half old. Mm-hmm. So, and in any case, my dad was thinking about moving out West Coast, and saw the movie Play Misty for Me and loved the location in Carmel, California, and thought that Clint Eastwood's job on the radio was the coolest thing ever. So he literally moved out to Carmel and got a job at KRML radio. It's crazy. And then I used to do the morning show with him. When I'd go out and visit him, I'd do the morning show with him every day and be on the air with him every day. I still have cassettes, you know, so cool. of that. Yeah. That was back in like 73, 74. So
the actual setting of where they filmed it actually was that real.
Oh, that's all it. I would sit in that same room that Clint Eastwood is in the movie. I would sit in that room every morning.
Brand new release from the funk capital of the world. Squeeze Me.
What a great thing. You have photographs, personal photo of you in there and stuff. Yeah, that's totally. So cool, man. That's legendary. Yeah. And what a beautiful place Carmel was.
Yeah. Well, he moved out there in 72 or 73, and he stayed there until he passed away, you know, back in 2009. So yeah, I used to spend my summers out there. And in fact, there was a movie theater in Monterey, which is the next town over to Carmel, and a movie theater called the Dream Theater. And that's where I used to go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show and A Clockwork Orange and Rock and Roll High School and all these like midnight movies at the Dream Theater in Monterey. And that's when my band was looking for a band name. My dad suggested, hey, what about the name Dream Theater? And that's where it came from.
That's where it came from, your dad.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, he suggested it from the movie theater in Monterey. And then that's how the name Dream Theater came about.
Let me ask you, Winery Dogs 3, will it be on vinyl?
It's going to be coming a little later in the year. Just a lot of the vinyl manufacturers are behind schedule after COVID, so it takes a little longer than it used to. But yeah, it'll absolutely be on vinyl later in the year.
That's cool. And then you guys recorded this album when you went writing it. You did it old school. You got into a room where people don't do these things.
Well, that's the only way I do it. All the bands, all the albums I do, it has to be in the room together. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about, you know, the personal chemistry, especially if you're writing together, you know, you want to be together doing it. So, yeah.
So now you got the record coming out, number 3, released in February. You could pre-order it now. So I'll put all the links down below for everybody watching here. And that's cool. And so you got a long tour going on. I see all your dates. It's like going out.
Starts in February, and as of now, we have dates all the way through November at this point. Not all of which have been announced yet, but yeah, it's going to be a pretty long tour all year long. And all three of us have other things going, but you know, the focus right now for the entire 2023 is the Winery Dogs. So that's pretty much all we're going to be doing.
Everybody watching, Mike Portnoy here. We'll get him back. I'll beg him, and I'll beg his friends to get him back here. You got the Winery Dogs 3 coming out, and 1's the loneliest number, not 3. Everybody pre-order now. Links will be in the description down below. But Mike, I got to thank you for just even giving me the opportunity, and I hope
man.
If I annoyed you, go tell Derek to screw off. Whatever.
There is no bigger shit stirrer on earth than Derek Shitstirinian.
You know what? You just met the match because all of us together, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I love for you to come back. We'll talk more vinyl. Go down the rabbit hole whenever you're available because you'll be busy. Thank you very much. Congratulations on the new release. And thanks for doing the good music you do, man. You know?
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it.
Fun conversation, man. Good talking to you.
Absolutely. You too, Mike. Hope to speak to you again. I'll let you get out of here. Until then, everybody, we're out of here. Mike Portnoy in the house. Thanks, Mike. All righty.
Thank you, man.
That was Mike Portnoy. If you want to catch more of this episode, unedited, uncut, make sure you click on the box right up here. Until then, everybody, I am Stefan. You are beautiful. Remember, who loves you, baby? We do. Now subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and we'll catch you all later. Get out of here, you crazy kids. Bam.